they're placing less of an emphasis on it.
Yeah.
Even the fact that they've given T20 international status to all ICC affiliated countries tells you that that's what they think the vehicle's going to be. I don't think it just captures people's attention the way it used to. It used to be the fastest format of cricket back when it was envisioned. 60 over cricket originally, and then became 50 over cricket. But I think that the world in general, the attention spans of people aren't what it used to be. So I think, the shorter forms are doing very well. This is up, it's in the air at 6. Maximo. That one finds its way into the cube. It's almost getting blown over. It's almost getting knocked over from the other direction as Cupido goes large over the offside.
Yeah, Cupido is in terrific form today. He's just smacking sixes on the offside. Already 3 sixes from him.
So I also want to just clarify something because Rico is coming and Dave was asking, does that mean that Lenny's going?
That's down the leg side for me.
Oh, he's given him. Oh, well.
Oh, it was a shocker of a decision for me. Let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We get the benefit of the replay. The umpire doesn't. And I don't think there's much you can do about this because it's a judgment call, and we'll check the line of it. So it comes in. To me, you can kind of see all the stumps.
Now let's have a look.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, very unfortunate.
You can see 3 stumps there.
Yeah.
But I think that's just one you're going to have to eat. But
yeah, I got to feel for the umpire because they don't have the replays. They have to make the fraction of in a second, the 3 decisions, pitching in line, impact in line, wickets hitting. So in this moment, I must say Chintan got it wrong. But anyway, it's part and parcel of the game.
This is one of the things with LBWs in particular, because it's a judgment call. I mean, let's be honest, we can kind of see that's missing. But no one really knows what's going to happen after the ball hits the pad. I mean, it could have blown back onto the stumps for all we know. I mean, it's just...
You don't have the DRS.
Exactly. So, for something like what's going to happen after the ball hits the pad, it's not really one where we could have a procedure. Otherwise, every single LBW, you'd be having to slow down, and then people are still going to disagree. Got to say though
it's umpire's call, it's umpire's decision.
It's a tough one to wear as a bat. I mean, when he goes back and looks at that, I know that Cupido will be pretty filthy about it. Anyway, here's Pereira in over number 5.
That was a good delivery. Is it an off spinner or a medium pacer?
Yeah, I'd still call him a spinner. And he's still, what I like about Pereira, he's so cool, he's still got the sunnies on. He's not too worried about the fact that there hasn't been a lot of sun around.
Oh, that's a great delivery, line and length.
We have seen some keepers keeping back, almost like they're able to catch deflections more than actually going for a stumping. So it's a different approach. But yeah, normally you would have the keeper up.
Yeah, Roshan Pereira sticking to the
Come up a little bit now.
Really good line and length.
Goes straight down the ground, into the gap, and nice work from Jamil Jamaica, who has to just float around his teammate there.
Yeah, coming back to the format, so yeah, the 50 over is pretty lengthy now.
Yeah.
It's taking a lot of time. People are losing interest, and it's quite not that exciting as it used to be. Because when I grew up, it's always in 90s, so the 50 over is a popular format. But ever since the 20 over came in, I think 50 over has lost its significance. So they should probably, the ICC should stick to the test format, which is the ultimate one, and then keep the T20. And who knows, T10 for Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, we're talking about the Olympics, and I think that the T10 format could be the way to go there. This is whipped away. It's Pio De Silva, the new batter. Now this guy...
I love Pio.
Yeah, we all love Pio. Yeah. He just comes out and you know what he's going to try and do. And if he does it, we're going to lose some balls.
He's a really good batsman. I've seen some of his innings in 40 overs format. It really paces the innings well. Just watches the ball and then builds the innings.
This is dragged to the leg side. This will just be a single. Yeah, format-wise, I mean, I'm not saying that I mind the 50 over game. It seems when it first came out, it was considered fast-paced. But times change. You used to send a letter, and if it got there the next day, you thought that was fast-paced. But now you don't. What do? You send a text. Everything is instant these days. People want instant gratification. Pio hits this, but towards the field, and it's dropped. It wasn't an easy one down there for Ali Shah, who was also Probably a little bit concerned about where he was compared to the boundary. This one just doesn't stick to the hands.
Yeah, that was a bit of luck for Pio. Hopefully he will catch in with all the luck which he got with the drop catch.
Yeah.
Do you also play cricket in Australia in winter?
Not really, because like I was saying earlier, by the way, that does take us down to 5 over 62 for 3 as we look at some of those groups for the ECC. But the fact that we have such a seasonality with our sports calendar is that you'd play indoor cricket in winter. I mean, to be honest, Australian weather, you'd actually get a fair bit of cricket in if you wanted to play cricket in winter. This is a good Yorker first up.
Yeah, we play a lot of indoor cricket in Switzerland from October to March.
The indoor cricket we play slightly different though, so it has nets around. Okay. It's played in a rectangular field, like a court.
Yeah. I love the indoor cricket in Switzerland because it's very fast-paced. It's like 6 overs.
Yeah.
You don't waste a lot of time.
This is hit straight down the ground for 6. Well, Pio out of life, and now he's making the most of it. Maximo Kabir gets hit straight back over his head. He's been PO'd.
Yeah, he makes the best use of the drop catch, and then he just smacks it straight over the bowler's head.
Yeah, they're checking that ball. So, even the type of indoor cricket we play in Australia, it's not with a hard ball. You don't have to wear pads. You normally wear gloves and your protector.
Yeah, it's the same what we do also. The indoor ball, it's just like a kind of a middle, not so hard and not so hard, soft. And it's really fast-paced, and it keeps you in the game all the time.
I like this from Kabir. But be careful. Don't poke the bear. There's, Pio saying, how did you miss me? Here's the next one. Walks at it. Yorks himself. He's going to have to hustle here. They do. They get a single.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the Geneva Cricket Club because it's a long drive, Vinny, from Geneva to Senegal, and it's more like a diagonal one.
Yep.
Almost near to the French border, and now here to Senegal. It must be almost 3 hours drive for them, more than that.
Yeah. When was the last time I was in Switzerland? We have our head office here, so I do come sometimes to meet the big wigs. Anyway, this is up, and it's over the offside. Maximo! Nice shot by Fonseca. I think this is the thing about if you clear your front leg, if you're slightly late on it, you can still get it away for 6. Still gets plenty of bat on that, even though I don't think it's the original direction he was intending to hit the ball.
Yeah, that was a cracker of a shot from Amol. Fonseca.
Also a pretty good bowler.
Yeah, left-arm spinner.
Yeah, with his left-arm spin. Bowled well so far. Now hits this, picks out the fielder. And the throw comes in pretty rapidly down there from Parit Bansal.
So at the end of 6 overs, win to 2 is 75 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Yeah, so what's that, 12 and a half and over, so a 125 pace.
Yeah, I think they should up a tempo a bit now, make it 140, 150.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying. They've certainly got 7 wickets in hand. They've got no excuses. And from here, just like that one big over that maybe takes you from 125 to maybe 140 plus. And I do think this Geneva lineup, we saw them hit 170 earlier in the week. Can be a bit hit and miss, but you got someone like Kabir who's into the side, who's batted really well so far today. Of course, they only got the 5 overs earlier on. Someone like Roshan Pereira as well. Haven't seen him yet today. Abdul Rahimzi to come back. And he gets PO'd as well. And it's going to go to the fence, right into the hitting zone of De Silva. 4 runs.
I really like the sentence. PO'd it away.
Yeah. I was going to say just quickly, Kel's watching from Australia. Said, can the umpire ask for a replay for the LBW?
Nope.
He thinks that the bowlers spoil the umpires. No, but LBWs, we just don't have that technology. Even if, I suppose on the replay, we get a better idea.
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, I was in the spotlight because you cannot really do the review here. It's a kind of a mix before like what we had before the DRS.
Yeah.
It's more for the runouts and the...
I think the reason it shows up when these things happen now, we are getting so many decisions right. That's what you have to realise. And there's always going to be a small pocket that procedurally you can't necessarily allow for it.
I always believe in this 80-20. 80, you got to really get it, and 20 always happens here and there.
Yeah, 80-20 rule.
Pareto principle.
Yeah. So, it's a pretty good Yorker, by the way, from Abdul Rahimzi there. Yeah, so if the bowler got in his way, then he shouldn't have given it out, if that was the case. But I didn't notice that at the time, but it is a bit of a persistent problem. Do you have the bowlers running in front of you sometimes? Is that something you've noticed?
Yeah, kind of. It kind of like disrupts me at times when the bowler kind of runs in. I mean, you cannot really avoid it all the time. It depends on the bowler's action.
I mean, the main thing is bowlers need to get off the same side of the pitch that they're bowling from, not running across the other side of the pitch. And leg side, this will be a wide. So that's probably one thing that we're trying to work on. But Kel, great to see you. Are you supporting Queensland in this game? I was saying, Kel, this looks like Queensland versus South Australia if you're an Australian cricket supporter.
So I will support for Queensland, which is... And then
Queensland is the bowling team here.
Okay,
Geneva.
And then the other one is for you, Vinny.
It's like South Australia. But I'm from Western Australia, so if this was Game Australia, I wouldn't really have... I'd probably be going for South Australia.
But tell me, the WACA ground is not played anymore, isn't it? It's mostly the new ground.
Well, the WACA ground still exists, and they do play some cricket there, but it's not really built to take big crowds anymore. So I think the most you can get in there is now it's more of a boutique ground. It can just take a few thousand. And there's also some plans to develop the real estate.
So it's a new ground now in Perth.
Yeah, so all the international cricket and really big matches have been moved to what's known as Perth Stadium, which is actually really close. It's just across the other side of the river. So it would be maybe 1 kilometre away.
Yeah, it's the same with Christchurch. I used to remember the beautiful Christchurch, and it got distracted because of the earthquake. And then they have the Hagley Oval now in Christchurch. Yeah,
and actually, I'll tell you something interesting about the pitch in a second in that new stadium. Anyway, this is going to be up, and it's over point. That's going to be 4. So Fonseca is doing his bit. They need to lift it a bit here, in my opinion. At 7 overs down, it's 87 for 3.
Yeah, WACA is going to be the bounciest pitches. Do you think the new Perth Stadium is going to be the same?
Well, this is what I was going to say. And just quickly, before we talk about Perth, I'm going to show you a little bit of a graphic that shows you where we've been and where we're going. Can you believe that we've been to all those places? This is just in the European Cricket Series this year. We've also had other tournaments organised around this. But yeah, we're in Switzerland now, and then you can see where we're going next. Dresden, and then Krefeld, and then Rome. And then we'll have that 4-week break for the ECC before we finish the ECS with Croatia, Malta, and Spain, and maybe more to come after that. So that takes us all the way up to kind of mid-December. Let's get back to the action here.
A lot of my friends in Germany are looking forward to the tournament in Germany.
Yeah, we'll have a good time there, I'm sure about that. Jabakil gets driven away here, just a single. So the actual pitch in the new Perth Stadium, it's a drop-in pitch, number 1. So they drop it in. But apparently there's this secret place that they get the soil for the WACA pitch, and no one knows where it is, and that's the soil they've used to make this. So it's basically like a WACA pitch, okay? Because it's drop-in, it has some different characteristics. But yeah, they really wanted to try and keep that character in the new stadium. And I've actually been to both. I've actually played at the WACA.
Because that's why I have a great respect for WACA. Because I still remember Sachin Tendulkar, he scored a century in the WACA pitch against the Australian bowlers.
And it was such a great challenge for players from the subcontinent to come out and play at the WACA. And it's very foreign, but that's kind of... It's one of the cool things about being an international cricketer.
I think he's on. He reached it.
Yeah, to experience those different conditions. P.O. walks and Yorks again, and then this is one. So I was just going to say that the WACA had a certain charm. The outfield is probably the one thing that's quite different. So the outfield of the WACA was like a pool table. It was fast. It would just run away so quickly. The new stadium is probably not quite as fast because it's mainly built for Australian football. So new stadium doesn't really have the charm the WACA did, but I will say this, the new stadium being new, it has more spectator-friendly things to it. So everything's a good view, whereas the WACA was all mishmash of grandstands bought that were built at different times.
They say Perth is a really isolated city in Australia, isn't it?
It is, yeah, compared to all the other major cities. So the shortest flight really out of Perth to another major city is about 3 hours.
Wow, that's pretty.
It's going to be a no ball because he hits the stumps.
He dislocated the stumps while he was running.
It's going to be a no ball, +1, +3 hit. So, yeah, that is true. I will say, yeah, the new stadium, just go back to stadium just for a sec, so actually takes a fair piece of the stumps there.
And the great stadium in Amsterdam is the Amstelveen.
Yeah, Amstelveen, yeah. And there's actually quite a few nice grounds in the Netherlands as well. But I got to say, I'm kind of torn on the new stadium because I miss the WACA, but watching cricket at the WACA, it wasn't great. It wasn't great for spectators. But what you saw on the field was great. But things like getting food, the facilities, those things, they needed an upgrade. So the fact that this stadium's built all at once means you can walk around the whole thing, everything's consistent, whereas the Wacker, there's this stand, and to go to the next stand, you had to go down, go out the back, turn around, cross the road, come around, but it was a bit difficult. But, yeah, there's many beautiful cricket grounds in the world, of course. Everyone has their favourites.
It's my dream also to watch a match in Queenstown in New Zealand. Have you been there to the mountains?
Ooh, that was tighter than you think. But yeah, I have been to New Zealand. I haven't watched a cricket match there though. But I have been to New Zealand a couple of times. Haven't been for a while.
That must be very close, right?
Yeah, and then come back for two. I think this is okay.
But St. Gallen is a beautiful ground as well, Vinny.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is a bit of an unusual one because the ground is so amazing. The pitch, obviously, it's a pretty good solution. I will say that. The pitch is well done
They say
for
better.
what it is. But
It's far better than nothing, yeah.
Exactly. And I think, for the bowlers, it's pretty hard work because they're not getting that much out of it. It just seems to slide on nicely for the batters who particularly, you don't see the batters getting rushed much for pace. That's the thing.
Yeah, at the end of 8 overs, Winterthur is 85 for the loss of 3 wickets.
It all happens in the ninth, and Pio is going to boof one out of the ground. Oh, that one's flying. Maximo! That one brings up the 100 as well for Winterthur.
I must say, a priority to the ball, to the 6.
Yeah, a boom, boom, boom. And let me hear you say Pio. And I know you all said it out there as well. And he's going to try it again. Katak back for his second over. His first one didn't start too well either.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, down the field, but they've got a very straight long on. That's Zahidullah that does the fielding. Yeah, so even with how they're going at the moment, I still think they're a little bit behind what would be par, 130 par.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to make it 130.
I like your faith. Fonseca misses a ball outside the off stump. It's not quite a wide. That's clever bowling from Afif Katak.
That was a good call from the umpire. That was well within that white line. So in 2020, Zurich Nomads were the champions, if I remember correctly, right, Vinny?
In 2020?
Yeah.
Was the tournament in which competition? Right here? Oh, yeah, when we were here last time, the ECS. Yeah, that was June 2020. And there were 7 teams that took part. And now we've got 11. So it's great to have more teams involved.
Yeah. And then Alton were the finalists as well.
So Alton last time, they won every match, but then they lost the final to the Nomads.
Or similar to the South African way of missing it out in the finals.
Yeah, so I always think it's quite humorous watching South Africa find more bizarre ways to knock themselves out of World Cups. But that was the story. And then Alton got the revenge on match 1 here in this tournament by chasing down 153 against the Nomads. As Pio just taps this one in the air, but he's going to get away with it, gets a bit of luck, and gets one. Yeah, so I suppose Alton got some revenge, but the real revenge for Alton will be to win the trophy. But it's not going to be so easy, as we've seen today. They were 1-1. I really love this format because it's a real evener.
It's anybody's game.
Anybody can beat anybody at any time in this competition. They're going to hit and run, but there's a fumble, so they'll get a run easily. That's Jabakil, finds himself in the circle now. Into the 9th over, 105 for 3. Now that turns out to be a pretty good over for Katak, who does get smacked first ball, but after that, he only concedes 4 singles off the next 5 deliveries, so slowing it down. And now we'll head into the last over.
Did you have a chance to also visit St. Gallen nearby places?
So last night was the first time I actually got to go visit St. Gallen, kind of the city centre or the town centre.
You should really check out Toggenburg. It's a beautiful view to the top.
Yeah.
Then there's another place, Sea Alpsee. So these are the 2 places which I would keep it near St. Gallen if you come next time.
I've got a few places on my list. I might have a bit of time off during the week. So Dave was asking about Rico coming. Well, Rico and Lenny and I will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that means we can mix and match a little bit. So I've certainly got a few things on my list. Yeah. All of Switzerland is beautiful. That's what I find.
No doubt about it.
I've been around a few times.
Oh, he missed the stumping.
Yeah, he's saying it's not a wide. Got to say, I thought...
Yeah,
I thought it might have grabbed the line. But, yeah, umpire disagreed. Oh, mate, if it snuck in, it was only just. Pereira gets away with it. Now it gets launched leg side, and this is gone. Maximo Fonseca lifts this one up and away. Is he trying to turn that, but it wasn't really turning. It just went straight onto the bat and disappeared.
Yeah, that's a great hit from Amol, scoring 35 runs from 22 balls. Both the players doing the job for the Winter 2.
Oh, now this one's missed the pitch, and Pio will grab the strike back. Fonseca probably not thrilled about running, which means that he doesn't get to face the free hit, but gets an extra one to the total. So looking at the average run rates, have been particularly high, and we were talking about the 2020 series and how things are a little bit different this time around. I've got some interesting information.
How about the weather tomorrow, Vinny?
Yeah, hopefully. This is going to go leg side. And they get one, and that's all they'll get in the end. So that was free hit, didn't really get cashed in. Yeah, so at the moment, the run rate today, as it stands, and it may not stay this way for the rest of the day, but it's actually the highest run rate of any day we've had so far here on day 7.
The last 3 balls from Roshan. Amal Fonseca would want to make the best use of it for the last 3 balls. So Winter 2 going at a rate of 12 runs. They would have been happy with a bit more, 13 to 14.
Okay, this is going to be straight down the ground, slightly mishit. And so, yeah, Winter 2. Maybe even the 120 they're going to have to settle for. Maybe not even that. Pio says, hey, do us a favour, will you?
The big man, Pio.
I wouldn't say no to him, actually. If he told me to hold anything, I'd probably just agree. So 2 to come. Here he goes. Doesn't really get it. Again, it's just a single. Has to run and gets there in the end. So 116 with the ball remaining. Yeah, so yeah, 15.4 today. But look how much it's gone up since 2020. It's gone from 9.9 and over back then, 13.2 and over. And this is the exact same ground. That's the thing.
Did you also have a penalty runs in that 2020?
Yeah, well, we did. As this is up, it's in the air. Well, the rain's come at the exact moment this ball's got in the air. It's a pretty good catch. I've got to say, Dalvinder looks like a very good fielder. He's taken 2 in this innings. And just when you thought he might get blown away. And the rain has come here. I'm telling you that right now, that even if we weren't going off for the 10 overs, we might have been going off for the rain. But anyway, we'll keep you up to date. But I can confirm that at the end of the 10 overs, the score is 116 for 4. Fonseca out off the very last ball.
Yeah, that's really not a good news. Rain is back again. I'm sure there's going to be a reduced overs and then the Duckworth will come.
Yeah, and it looks like it. We'll give you an update in a second. Right now, let's go into the highlights package of the first innings. Winter 2 back after a brief absence from the tournament. They came out swinging. And I've got to say, no lack of aggression from the batters. I think the fact they lose Kranagod Udagi early doesn't help them too much. Got to say there was some nice performances in there. I think Jubido was actually batting really well, but then he got this one, which just an error in judgment from the umpire, and that'll happen at any form of the game. Unfortunately, he had to go for 21. They never really get their mojo. Had guys that scored okay. Everyone can score between 140 and 160 in that 3-4-5 position, but no one really was able to get those really big over to get them to that 140. As it is 116 for me, looks a little light on. So 116 as the covers come on. And yeah, we could have a delayed start. Like I say, we'll run through this. I'll keep up to date in the chat and I'll let you know exactly what's happening. But anyway, let's go through the batting card here. 116 for Winter 2.
Yeah, so Winter 2 losing the couple of openers quite early. And then Amol Fonseca and Pio de Silva steadied the innings. Amol scored 36 runs in 25 balls. And the big man Pio PO'd it for 29 runs and 18 balls. Extras were pretty decent, 10 runs, which is still okay.
Yeah, 10 and 3 were leg buys.
And in
Can't
the
really-
end,
can't really
they
blame them.
made it 116. They would have expected a bit more, 130 plus.
Yeah, I think Cooper, though, probably the one through the short straw there with his 21 off 90 was actually looking really good. I suppose he should have missed it in the first place, as my coach used to say when I thought I got a tough LBW. Let's go through the bowling figures for Geneva.
Yeah, Afiq started it pretty well, but in the end, leaked some runs in the end. So at the end of 2 overs, just picking up 1 wicket for 24 runs. Zahidullah Abdul Rahman bowled well and just picked a wicket. The pick of the bowler was Roshan Pereira with his off spin. 2 overs, 14 runs, just conceding 1 run. And in the end, I think Geneva would be really happy.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy, but I mean, to chase them, they're going to have to get on the field. That might be the biggest obstacle because I think we're going to lose some overs here. We will come back in around about 10 minutes with an update of what's going on, and we'll give you some cricket one way or another. But for now, it's Vinny Sandy, Mr. Maximo with Satish, and we'll be back after this with more European Cricket Series.